On the news tonight, State Deputy Governor Samande Oyeme says delivery of Governor Sheriff Oborewori's development project surpasses the expectation of Deltans. Secretary to the state government, Dr. Kingsley Amu, wants oil-producing communities to desist from acts encouraging national economic sabotage. Nigeria Meteorological Agency warns of potential meningococcal meningitis outbreak in northern part of the country. Abroad, Southern Africa's desert nation of Namibia swears in first woman president, Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah. Good evening. Welcome to Delta TV Main News Tonight. My name is Francis Ofunue. Governor Sheriff Oborewori has surpassed the expectations of Deltans in delivering of quality projects across the state in less than 2 years. The State Deputy Governor, Samande Oyeme, said this during a thank you and empowerment tour of wards in Ndokwa West local government area. Perabotu now reports.
Sir Monday Oyeme, alongside other elected and appointed public office holders, visited Ward 6 Ogba Ogume, Ward 7 Ogbago Ogume, Ward 5 Onichukwani, and Ward 4 Utabuno. He urged the people to continue to support the Oborewori-led administration, saying the government would continue to deliver on its more agenda in the state, even as he noted that in less than 2 years, the Oborewori administration had embarked on several development projects in the 3 central districts. The deputy governor enjoined the people to continue to identify with the People's Democratic Party. The Delta North PDP chairman, Engineer Dan Osai, the member representing Ndokwa West constituency in the State House of Assembly, Honorable Charles Emetulu, the Commissioner for Urban Renewal, Engineer Mike Anoka, among others in their remarks, charged the people to continue to support the present administration and the PDP. They said the PDP had remained consistent with the growth and development of the state, with notable development projects and empowerments. I am Pere Botu reporting.
The state government has called on professional bodies in the state to be proactive and leverage the open door policy of Governor Sheriff Oborewori administration to contribute meaningfully to the development of the state. The Secretary to the State Government, SSG, Dr. Kingsley Amu, made the call while declaring open the 2025 Public Lecture and Award Ceremony of the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, Delta State Chapter, held in Asaba with the theme, The Role of Professionals in the Successful Implementation of the Delta State Moral Agenda. Mora Isoban now reports.
In a keynote address, Dr. Emu stated that the state has solidified its place as a major economic hub in Nigeria through prudent management of resources, investor-friendly policies, and a focus on key sectors like oil and gas, manufacturing, and technology. Adding that Delta's economic development was as a result of deliberate policies aimed at boosting agriculture, industrialization, and human capital development. He pointed to Governor Sheriff Oborewori's administration policies as a key driver of its success, citing initiatives such as the expansion of road networks, increased support for small and medium enterprises, SMEs, the development of industrial parks across the state, a thriving private sector, and relative peace enjoyed in the state, which has attracted investors to the state capital. Dr. Kingsley Emo assured the group that the government would continue to fulfill its obligations in maintaining the existing partnership with the professional bodies.
So we should try as professionals in our communication, in our community engagement, to promote peace and security.
The chairman of the professional bodies of Nigeria Delta State Chapter, Mr. Victor Ezie, said the essence of the association was to have a joint collaboration of all professional bodies with a common interest towards the advancement and development of the country. He highlighted the role of the association and focus of the public lecture.
After this program, we come up with a communique which will transmit to the government on our position on how to collaborate.
Highlights of the event was the presentation of Distinguished Professional Awards by the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria, APBN, to delegates. Mora Isokpan reporting.
The wife of the State Deputy Governor, Ezinne Catherine Oyeme, has called on professional bodies to use their professions to contribute to the growth and development of the society. Ezinne Oyeme said this during the 9th public lecture and award ceremony of the Association of Professional Builders of Nigeria, APBN, Delta State Chapter, held in Asaba, with the theme, The Role of Professionals in the Successful and Implementation of the Delta State War Agenda. Once again, Mora Isokpan reports.
The Deputy Governor, represented by the General Manager, Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Asaba, Mrs. Christine Jobome Emetulu, commended the association for their resilience towards the growth and development of their various professional bodies. She advised them to live up to expectations in their various professional endeavors and continue to be supportive of government policies and programs, advising them to leverage the state media outlets in sensitizing the public about their various professional services.
Her Excellency, Ezinne Catherine Oyeme, thank you for this honor and best wishes to the APBN in all their endeavors, especially the partner with the Delta State Government in the successful implementation of the war agenda.
The wife of the Deputy Governor noted that a body made up of different professional bodies. The event featured robust lectures from different resource persons. Highlights of the event was the presentation of a Distinguished Professional Award by the Association of Professional Bodies of Nigeria to delegates, including the wife of the State Deputy Governor, Ezinne Catherine Oyeme, a member, Quantity Surveys Board of Nigeria, Secretary to the State Governor, Dr. Kingsley Emu, and Commissioner for Health, Dr. Joseph Onojame. Mora Isokpan reporting.
The Delta Broadcasting Service, DBS Asaba, has been commended for its immense contribution to the development of the state in terms of effective dissemination of the policies, programs of the state government to the public. The Special Advisor to the State Government and Community Development, Ambassador Tony Agbulaya, gave the commendation when he called on the management of the station alongside other members of the Community Development Office, including aides to the governor. Once again, Mora Isokpan reports.
Ambassador Agbolayan solicited the station's partnership in ensuring that the More agenda reached the largest audience possible, especially at the grassroots. He said by collaborating with local media outlets, the Community Development Office would be able to bridge any information gaps between the government and the people it served.
You agree with me that communication is the life wire of any organization. Where there is lack of communication, the organization normally fails. The More agenda of His Excellency will need communications to drive it further. We need enlightenment to drive it further. To enlighten people, particularly in our rural area, how they will know the good thing His Excellency is already doing.
The General Manager of the DBS Asaba, Mrs. Christine Jobome Emetulu, said the station was technically an arm of governance, as it was the mouthpiece of the government, propagating its policies and programs to the people. She disclosed that robust programs have been drawn up by the station to drive the station's mandates more effectively and pledged the station's continued commitment to the fulfillment of its mandates.
The Belt Broadcasting Service is an extension of governance because we are the mouthpiece of the state government by a public service broadcast organization who are designed essentially to propagate programs and policies of the state government. To that extent, we are an extension of governance. Having established that, at any time, we are willing and we are ready, and we have been doing it, collaborating with ministries, departments, agencies, and special officers like yours to ensure that these projects, these programs, these policies of His Excellency, Right Honorable Elder Sheriff Oborewolu, are well propagated to the people.
The meeting, which marked the beginning of a fruitful partnership between the two entities, discussed strategies for effective communication, public awareness, and grassroots engagement with the shared goal of promoting the state government's moral agenda and improving the lives of Deltans. Mora Isopa reporting.
Has warned oil-producing communities to desist from acts that encourages national economic sabotage. The Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Kingsley Yabu, handed down the warning at a meeting with stakeholders from Ibide community, Isoko South local government area, over the lingering leadership crisis in the Community Development Association held at the conference hall in Asaba. This time, Henry Unogwa reports.
Dr. Emu said any individual or group of persons found violating this directive of the state government would face the full wrath of the law, adding that constitution would not be a barrier to conducting the community president general elections. He emphasized on the need for people to promote peace in their area, adding that the cost of crisis was far greater than its benefits, and thanked the parties for accepting to conduct elections and to embrace peace. The SSG charged the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and Social Development, and the team of peace building and conflict resolution to put machinery in place for efficient and effective election.
The good thing about the outcome is that everybody's ready for election. We shall conduct that election, irrespective of whatever is on ground. Since all the parties affected have said they want election and they want peace, we shall conduct a very transparent election. That's what we do. Contribution of our peace efforts.
Earlier, the people appealed to the state government to intervene in their matter to ensure an election is conducted for the community and express satisfaction with the meeting.
This meeting was a very brilliant one, and as we can see, both parties are preaching peace. So we're getting to the end of the tunnel in no distant time.
In attendance were the Special Advisor to the Governor on Peace Building and Conflict Resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Community and Social Development, Princess Pat Ajudwa, and the security agents. Henry Onogwa reporting.
Similarly, the state government has met with stakeholders of Emu Ebendu and Umuseti community, Axela Consortium, and Zenergy Limited oil processing companies operating in the area of a lingering land dispute. The meeting held at the SSD conference hall in Asaba. It will again to Henry Unogwa.
Presiding over the meeting, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Peace Building and Conflict Resolution, Chief Edwin Uzo, advised Zenergy Limited and Azela Consortium, oil companies operating in the area, to suspend all activities for 10 days to enable the state government address their matter. Chief Uzo said government was interested in investors and development in communities and charged leaders of both Emwebendo and Umuseti communities not to promote crisis but key into the more agenda as champions of peace, adding that violence does no one good. He noted that protests and counter-protests between both communities could only slow down development in the area and charged parents and community leaders to to call their children and subjects to order.
And they've told them to go home and maintain peace and begin to live the way they have been living peacefully. And I got the document that is related to purchase of land, consent and all that. They should make it available for us so that we investigate further to see how authentic those documents are. After that, we'll come back to round table to take the decision.
Earlier, parties to the dispute expressed their grievances and appealed to the state government to help restore peace in the area. The communities thanked the peace team for the meeting and promised to maintain peace.
We appreciate the guidance of Chief Edwin Ozel and his team. So I think it's a wonderful meeting. Everybody that came today made their submissions in a very peaceful manner.
The take home is that the company should be allowed to do their business in Delta State because they're bringing development to our people. Whatever issues between communities will eventually be settled.
Henry Onogwa reporting. Presiding over the meeting, the special advisor to the governor on peace.
The Executive Assistant to the Governor on Public Enlightenment, Projects and Policies, Mr. Olise Ifejika, has said that the 1 billion naira loan approved by the State Executive Council in February will be available to the public as soon as the state government completes the documentation with the Bank of Industry. Mr. Ifejika said this while on a Voice of Delta radio program in Asaba. He said the governor and his administration selected Bank of Industry as a partner in scheme because of its track record as reputable financial managers with lots of testimony from Nigerians on how the bank has assisted them in improving their businesses. Mr. Ifejika stated that the state government knew the role of micro, small and medium-scale enterprises in the economy of any nation. Hence, it decided to provide soft loans with these businesses, who are the major drivers of the economy, adding that the loan would be given to Deltans at single-digit interest rate. Mr. Ifejika disclosed that the state was putting finishing touches to the Memorandum of Understanding with the bank, stressing that in the first 2 weeks of April, government will formally launch disbursement of the loan scheme. He said the current interest rates by commercial banks had made it difficult for small businesses to thrive, and as such, Governor Borewori decided to introduce a more efficient and flexible system for the administration of the loan by the Bank of Industry. Mr. Ifejika said applicants could access the loan that is domiciled in the Bank of Industry upon completion of paperwork, and lauded Governor Sherifu Borewori for championing the program. He used the forum to also thank the governor for ensuring that Deltans got value for the ongoing projects through routine inspection and expressed joy that the war agenda was on course. The state head of service, Mr. Reginald Bayoko, has been described as an astute administrator who has left an indelible mark in the civil service. The chairman steering committee for the Senfo HOS and permanent secretary in the Ministry of Youth Development, Mrs. Ngozi Mobulu, said this while briefing newsmen on the activities lined up to mark the retirement of Mr. Reginald Bayoko. Esther Oputa now reports.
Ngozi Mobolu said Mr. Bayoko was distinguished for many reasons, including the fact that he is the longest-serving HOS and the youngest permanent secretary to become head of service. She said the head of service had built a cordial relationship between the government and civil servants.
Being the 11th head of service, he was sworn in on the 13th of June 2016 by the then Governor Ifeanyi Okowa. And he accepted, for the 8 years of his tenure, and also he's serving, his 9th year under the stint of the more agenda Governor Sherifu Borewori. Want to say that it's the end of an era. It's going to mark the end of an era. There are some people who have been in the civil service and even in the public service who have never known a different head of service.
Dr. Mobolu, who said activities lined up for the sent forth included a valedictory meeting with the College of Permanent Secretaries, which will take place at the office of the head of service from 2 p.m. a road work on Tuesday, March 25, to create awareness on autism, adding that on Wednesday, March 26, the head of service would pay a valedictory visit to Governor Sheriff Oberewori. She said Thursday, March 27, will be the valedictory lecture by the head of service at the Dome Event Center at 9:30 a.m., adding that a farewell tour of the State Secretariat will hold on Friday, 28 March from 10 in the morning.
On Wednesday is the valedictory visit by the head of service to His Excellency. Okay, usually when permanent secretaries are retiring, they will pay a valedictory visit to the head of service. So this time that the head of service himself is retiring, he's going to pay a valedictory visit to his boss, the governor of Delta State.
The committee chairman said Saturday was slated for the Thanksgiving service of the head of service at the Grace and Progress Family Chapel, Asaba, at 10 a.m., adding that civil servants are enjoined to take part in the activities to bid the #1 civil servant farewell from active service. Esther Oputa reporting.
Meanwhile, activities lined up to mark the retirement of the state head of service, Mr. Reginald Bayoko, has commenced in Asaba. The statement signed by Director of Public Communication and functioning Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Mrs. Teresa Oliko, says on Monday, March 24, a valedictory meeting with the College of Permanent Secretaries will take place at the office of the head of service from 2 in the afternoon, while Tuesday, March 25, will feature a road walk to create awareness on autism, taken off from the Professor Chike Dozier Secretariat at 7:30 in the morning. Wednesday, March 26 will see a valedictory visit to the state governor, followed by a valedictory session with the State Executive Council, while Thursday, March 27, will record a valedictory lecture at the Dome Event Center from 10 in the morning. Friday, March 28, will witness a farewell tour of the State Secretariat and pull-out ceremony from 10 in the morning. A Thanksgiving service to round off the activity will take place on Saturday, March 29, at the Grace and Progress Family Church, Asaba, from 10 in the morning. Deltons, particularly civil servants, have been enjoined to participate in all the activities. You're watching Delta TV. Main news at 8 Delta Cub. Nigerian Meteorological Agency warns of a potential meningococcal meningitis outbreak in the northern part of the country. Stay with us.
How far, Niger? Welcome to the Glow Cafe app. Come in. Because it's time for an upgrade. Your own personal Glow Cafe app open 24/7. Welcome to bigger, better, smarter. Welcome to total control of your data, your airtime. Mom, I'll call you back. How you buy? I'll send you data. How you share and how you recharge. Movies, gaming, music. All in one place. Welcome to more value. Download the upgraded Glow Cafe app and get more data. Get 100% recharge bonus and get a massive 100 gigabytes data bonus when you register. Want it all? Download all this into this.
You're watching Delta TV News at 8. We go straight to a national story where the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has warned about a potential meningococcal meningitis outbreak in the northern part of the country, citing worsened weather conditions as a major risk factor. NIMET, in its meningitis watch issued earlier in the week, stated that dust particles in suspension coupled with high heat and humidity are expected to increase over the next 3 days. Although citizens have complained about intense heat across the country, NIMET warned that the situation was more dire in the northern part of the country, which is on average hotter than the southern part. The agency explained that the weather conditions had increased the prospects of the outbreak of meningococcal meningitis over that region. It listed the states most vulnerable to an outbreak to include Sokoto, Kebbi, Zamfara, Katsina, Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi, Yobe, Gombe, Adamawa, and Borno, while warning that most vulnerable groups were infants, young children, the aged, those with weak immune systems, and people with head injuries. NIMET warning comes amid a rising outbreak of cerebrospinal meningitis in Kebbi State, but the death toll has now reached 55. The Nigerian Customs Service, Murtala Mohammed International Airport Command, says it has intercepted a total of $578,000 falsely declared from an inbound passenger coming into Nigeria from South Africa. The Customs Area Controller in charge of the command, Mr. John Harrison, announced this while speaking with newsmen at the command. He explained that the suspect, Mr. Okuri Sunday, came into the country on Wednesday, March 19, with the money undeclared and hidden in his body. According to him, the passenger, on arriving at the airport, started acting strange, which warranted a search by the officers on duty, adding that the suspect also concealed €100 and a counterfeit $250. The cash was then handed over to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and was jointly counted and confirmed by Customs and the Anti-Graft Agency. The Corporate Affairs Commission highlighted that such unlawful behavior undermines the integrity of the nation's financial system. Mr. Harrison mentioned that Customs had provided forms at the counters of all airlines to allow passengers to make the lawful declaration. While receiving the intercepted cash, the acting zonal director of EFCC, Mr. Ahmed Ghali, urged members of the public to avoid such crimes, advising that any cash over $10,000 should be declared as provided by law. Mr. Ghali added that such an act exposes the country to money laundering and could make the country look like a hub of illicit financial inflows. He noted that the EFCC will investigate and verify if the money is genuine or fake, while taking further investigative action. Away from Nigeria now, Southern Africa's desert nation of Namibia swore in its first woman president today after Netumbo Nandi-Ndaitwah won elections that extended the ruling party's 35-year grip on power. Nandi-Ndaitwah, 72, became one of the few women to lead an African nation in a ceremony attended by heads of state from several countries on the continent, including Angola, South Africa, and Tanzania. Previously in the post of vice president, she is the veteran of the Southwest Africa People's Organization, SWAPO, that led the sparsely populated and uranium-rich country to independence from apartheid South Africa in 1990. Outgoing President Nangolo Mbumba, 83, handed over power at a ceremony that coincided with the 35th anniversary of Namibia's independence and was moved from the Independence Stadium to the State House because of rare heavy rains. Applause and felicitations erupted as Nandi-Ndaitwah, popularly known as NNN, took the oath of office. Before delivering her remarks, she called on previous women African leaders in the audience, including Liberia's Nobel Peace Laureate and former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, to stand. Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the only other woman currently leading an African country, was also present. Still away from Nigeria, the Sudan Army has announced that its fighters have entered the presidential palace in the center of Khartoum. In recent weeks, the army had stepped up its campaign against the rival Rapid Support Forces RSF in the city, which had lost at the start of the war in 2023. Reclaiming Khartoum would be a huge victory for the army and a pivotal moment in the conflict. The RSF still controls large parts of the country, including much of the West. According to the United Nations, the two-year civil war had caused the world's largest humanitarian crisis. The United States President, Mr. Donald Trump, has signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education, fulfilling a campaign pledge and a long-cherished goal of some conservatives, accusing the agency of breathtaking failures the Republican president pledged to return the money it controls to individual states. The move was already facing legal challenges from those seeking to block the agency's closure, as well as sweeping cuts to its staff announced last week. Established in 1979, the department administers student loans and grants programs to help low-income students. President Trump had accused it of indoctrinating young people with racial, sexual, and political materials. Surrounded by children seated at school desks in the White House yesterday, President Trump said the U.S. spends more money on education by far than any other country, adding that students rank near the bottom of the list. The White House said that his administration would move to cut parts of the department that remains within legal boundaries. In Israel, the Israeli Prime Minister, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu, has fired the nation's security service over its failure to anticipate the October 7, 2023 attack by Hamas. The Israeli cabinet met yesterday to formally approve the early dismissal of Ronen Bar, who was appointed in October 2021 for a 5-year term as the Shin Bet chief. Mr. Netanyahu announced his intention to sack Mr. Bar in a statement on Sunday, citing an ongoing distrust between the two men, which he said had grown over time. The move sparked outrage and further inflamed anti-government demonstrations in Jerusalem, which saw thousands of Israelis join forces with protesters opposing Israel's renewed assault on Gaza. It was the first time in Israel's history that the government had fired the Shin Bet leader. A letter sent by Netanyahu to members of his government ahead of the meeting referenced a persistent loss of professional and personal trust between the Prime Minister and Mr. Bar, and proposed his term end on April 20. The Shin Bet is Israel's domestic intelligence agency and plays a key role in the war. Report says Mr. Bar did not attend the cabinet vote, but sent a letter saying that firing him was entirely tainted by conflicts of interest as the Shin Bet investigates the Prime Minister's office over allegations of Qatar's involvement in the heart of Israeli decision-making. And back home, and talking business now, Nigeria remains open to cryptocurrency companies even as it pursues an $80 billion lawsuit against Binance, Information Minister Mohammed Idris has said. The government sued Binance in February over alleged economic losses and detained U.S. staffer Tigran Gambarian in a money laundering case. He was released after 8 months and charges were dropped. Binance, which seized Nigerian operations in March 2024, denies all allegations. The government was really concerned about crypto's role in terrorism financing, money laundering, and tax evasion, stressing that illicit financial flows must be addressed globally. Nigeria is the world's second largest crypto adopter, receiving $59 billion in transactions between July 2023 and June 2024. It accounts for 40% of stablecoin inflows in sub-Saharan Africa, according to China analysts. The Binance fine has drawn comparisons to past penalties, including a $5.2 billion fine against MTN in 2015. Critics argue Nigeria's heavy fines may deter investment. Idris said the government is improving the business climate by revising visa rules, tax laws, and expatriate quotas. Foreign direct investment fell from $8.1 billion in 2009 to $1.6 billion in 2023. He denied that Binance caused the Naira's devaluation, but acknowledged the exchange contributed to it. And now to state matters. Deltans have been informed that Delta State's Primary Healthcare Development Agency, in collaboration with the Carter Center, will be providing free surgeries for men 18 years and above who have hydrocele or enlarged scrotum. A statement signed by Director of Public Communication and Function Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Information, Mrs. Teresa Oliko, says free medical care will also be provided for persons with elephantiasis, enlarged hands and legs, with or without sores. The statement has requested those affected to report to the nearest primary health care center or call 0703 507 3951 or 0810 060 8207 for screening and management. The screening and management exercise began yesterday, March 20, and will end on Monday, March 31, as a prelude to free surgeries. The Altitude College, Kwale, Ndokwa West Local Government Area, held its maiden inter-house sports competition with a call on parents and guardians to support development of sports among children. The inter-house sports competition held at the Owese Primary School field, Utagbogbe, Kwale. Bridget Agetu now reports.
Retired Rear Admiral Mike Honor, in his address said sports has become a means of uplifting families from their low financial status and enjoin parents not to deny their children the opportunity of becoming great in the future by discouraging them from participating in sporting activities. Rear Admiral Honor, who is also the patron of the Red House, expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the inter-house sports competition and commended the management of the school for giving the students the opportunity to discover their talents.
Sport has become an instrument of financial aggrandizement. It has become so important that we, the parents, we have to encourage our children in any sport.
The proprietor of the Beatitude College, Kwale, Dr. Akpati Agaga, in an interview said the essence of the inter-house sports competition was to keep the student physically and mentally fit, as well as giving them an avenue to discover their potentials in the various sporting activities towards developing their talents.
The training of a child is both physical and
our proprietor will also run,
and spiritual.
But that one will be 50 meters.
To make a child to grow. That is the essence of it.
Earlier in his speech, the principal of the school, Mr. Ejiro Akporaru, said it was imperative to combine education with sports for the all-round development of the students.
It is no gainsaying that the fact that education comprises the mental and physical aspects. Unfortunately, the latter is oftentimes neglected in the system. It is no gainsaying that the fact that education comprises the mental and physical aspects. Unfortunately, the latter is oftentimes neglected in the system. The notion is proved wrong by the height attained by sportsmen like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Cheche Okocha, Kanu Wangwa, Sunday Olise, Blessing Okabare, Serena Williams, to mention but a few.
Parents present expressed satisfaction with the event and commended the school management for its efforts.
This is very important because when somebody that is into sports, of course, will always be very sound.
At the end of the competition, Red House emerged overall winner, while Blue House finished second with Yellow House and Green House taking third and fourth position. The event featured match pass, sack race, relay race, long jump, high jump, and discus, among other sporting activities. Bridget Agitu reporting.
And now to another victorious sports story. Super Eagles have defeated Rwanda 2-0 in the 2026 World Cup qualifiers to revive the team's hopes of making it to the global competition. It was the Super Eagles' first game under the new head coach, Eric Schell. Victor Osimhen's first half brace was enough to give the Super Eagles the 3 points and first victory in the qualifiers. The striker, who has excelled this season for his Turkish club Galatasaray, opened scoring with a side-footed finish from Ademola Lookman's free kick. Osimhen doubled the Eagles' advantage after collecting the ball on the halfway line and dinking it over the goalkeeper. The result takes the three-time African champions up to third place in the group, following South Africa's 2-0 win over Lesotho. Delta TV news reporter Bridget Agetu, who monitored the match, reports that the Super Eagles will face Zimbabwe next week Tuesday at the Godswill Akpabio Stadium, Ujo, Akwa Ibom State, at 5 p.m. And that's the news. But before we go, a quick look at our major stories. Governor Sheriff Oborewori has surpassed the expectations of Deltans in delivery of development projects across the state. In less than 2 years, the state deputy governor, Monday Oyeme, said this during a thank you and empowerment tour of wards in Ndokwa West local government area. The state government has warned oil-producing communities to desist from acts that encourages national economic sabotage. The secretary to the state government, Dr. Kingsley Emu, handed down the warning at a meeting with stakeholders from Igbide community, Isoko South local government area, over the lingering leadership crisis in the Community Development Association held at his conference hall in Asaba. The Nigeria Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has warned about a potential meningococcal meningitis outbreak in the northern part of the country, citing worsening weather conditions as a major risk factor. NIMET, in its meningitis watch issued earlier in the week, stated that dust particles in suspension, coupled with the high heat and humidity, were expected to increase over the next 3 days. And from the foreign scene, we reported that the United States President, Mr. Donald Trump, has signed an executive order to dismantle the Department of Education, fulfilling the campaign pledge and a long-cherished goal of some